Hi, this is Mike, WB4HUC, and no one asked for this, but I thought I would put a video up of my modest little station here, and just in case anyone's interested. So here we go. The main transceiver's an Elecraft K4D, I guess. I put the subreceiver in it earlier this year, and an IC7300, and over here are the Elecraft 500 watt amplifier and tuner with a built-in 3-position antenna switch. And then up here is a coax switch that instead of switching multiple antennas between one radio, I switch multiple radios into the amplifier, tuner, or antenna system. So I use that to switch either the 7300 or the K4 to put them on the air. Now that means I can only use one radio at a time, but that's okay. I don't really have a need to use more than one radio at a time. With my style of operating, I'm mostly a rag chewer and a little bit of digital work and not much of a contester or DXer. So here we go. And this is a handheld cell phone video, so I'm going to try not to make people seasick. Anyway, here you see on the desk the two radios, and then towards the front of the desk you can see the microphone for the 7300. You can see my Bengali magnetic paddle, my Kent straight key that I bought probably in the mid-80s. I've had it a long time. The K-Pod for the K4D, and then in front of that is a homebrew push-to-talk switch. Has a toggle switch where you push the switch and it stays keyed up as long as the switch is engaged. And then in front of that's a momentary switch, a push-button switch, in case you need to just throw out your call sign or whatever you need to do that's short duration. Now, what you'll notice is on the left side of this keyboard is pretty crowded. So, but not too crowded. I make it work. I have more space than what I'm showing you here, but I like to have everything in front of me and within arm's reach without having to turn my chair or slide the chair up and down the table or whatever. I just like it all to be right there. So it's kind of crowded, and I'm left-handed. So that's another thing. And you'll notice also that all of this stuff is towards the front edge of the desk. So when I want to use the straight key or the paddle, how do I do that? Well, the chair that I'm sitting in has arms on it, so I can rest my forearm on the arm of the chair and then just reach out and operate the key or the paddle, normally. So arm support is from the chair, which of course is not in the picture, but it works very well and it's comfortable. So that's how I do that. And then to the left of the K-Pod, you see the Unicomp keyboard for the computer. It's a mechanical keyboard. It's pretty large. It's about 18 inches wide, 7 or 8 inches deep. Takes up some space, but I like this keyboard a lot. I like it a lot. And then if we keep going, you'll see two power supplies in the back there. They're both Astron SS30Ms, but the one on the bottom is a little bit newer model than the one on top. The bottom power supply runs the 7300. The top power supply runs the K4D through a rig runner distribution strip or distribution panel that has 8 sets of power pole connectors on it. And so I also use that rig runner to power all the little 12-volt devices that I have. So those are all fed from that top power supply. Then on top of the power supplies is my old Heathkit clock that I built, assembled from a kit sometime in the mid-1980s. So I've had the clock a long time. It still works great. And then on top of that is the indoor-outdoor thermometer showing 86 degrees on my front porch. So kind of mild for us for this time of year. And then next to the power supplies is the stereo speaker for the computer. That's the right speaker. Over here to the left of the 7300 is the left stereo speaker for the computer. And I can run the audio. Both radios have sound cards built into them. So I can run the audio from the radio into the computer. They each have their own sound card devices in Windows. And I can play the audio back through the computer if I like. What else? The speaker, there we go. So the SP4 speaker has two inputs. One input is from the K4. The other input is from the 7300. So I can listen to either radio on the speaker, but one at a time. And if I need to hear both radios, I can play one back through the speaker and I can play the other back through the computer. And then on top of the equipment is my LP100A watt meter control, the Winkeyer, and an old Radio Shack stereo audio switch. It'll swap left and right inputs from three different devices into one device. So if you had three things, you had an old stereo amplifier with only one input, you could plug the devices, let's pretend the turntable, the CD player, or whatever another device would be, and switch those, into your amplifier. I use it to swap the keyboard. I use it to swap the straight key and the paddle between the two radios. So position 1 is the K4, position 2 is the 7300. So I can swap the paddle and the key between the two radios, and that way I don't need two sets of two paddles and two keys. And that works very well. The LP100A has two sensors. One is on the output of the tuner. The other is on the output of a dummy load. So that if I need to do any kind of testing or whatever, and I want to get an accurate measurement of power, I can do that. What else is there to say? Oh, I run the 7300 through the Win4 Suite software because I like running that radio through computer software. And along with the Win4 Suite software, I use I've got a PTRX 7300 device installed inside the radio, and it brings an antenna connector out to the back to connect the antenna output of a software-defined receiver so that the same antenna that feeds the rig can feed the software-defined receiver. And I use an RSP1 or 1A from SDR Play, and I use the SDR Uno software to display the pan adapter, and that all works out very well. So the control panel for the radio and the pan adapter are all on the computer. And the Win4 Suite software can use several different devices as a remote tuning control. And the K-Pod is one of the remote tuning devices that it can service. So I can actually use the K-Pod as a remote tuning knob for the ICOM, because the ICOM doesn't really have an input for a remote tuning device on the radio. So I use the software, and then I can use the K-Pod. And the way I do that is, you can see that switch right in front of the K4D. That's a USB switch that has two outputs and one input. So the input comes from the K-Pod, and one of the outputs goes to the K4, and the other output goes to the computer. And then the Win4 Suite software can read the can read the K-Pod from the computer. And that all works pretty well. So I'm trying to think of what else there is to say. There isn't much to say. You notice on the K4 there's no microphone or headphones or anything plugged into the front. I use my NRAD W1 headset with the K4, and it's connected to the radio in the back. And I keep the headset down here on this little hook on the table, and then there's the station computer down there. That pencil I use if I need to do touchscreen stuff on the ICOM. I just, instead of getting my greasy fingerprints all over the screen of the ICOM, I just touch it with the eraser end of that number 2 pencil. That works out pretty well. And, so this monitor, I can't remember if I told you, but it's a 34-inch monitor, and it's suspended over the radio equipment, and it's at more or less eye level. I've seen some stations that have the computer monitor high, and you have to tilt your head back to look at it. That seems uncomfortable to me. So I've got this one more or less at eye level and pretty close. And I'm gonna, there we go. Screensaver kicked in. So you can see there's the image of the LCD screen from the K4 on the computer screen. To the left of that is my logging program. Pardon me. And then above the K4 image is the control panel for the watt meter. And then over here is Miss July 1972 from 73 magazine, back when Wayne Green was putting girly pictures on the cover of 73 magazine. So there you go. And is there anything else to say? I'm trying to think of whatever else there's to say. Not much. This is not real elaborate, but it suits me. I'm not really a contester or much of a DXer. I don't do things that require me to have 2 radios. And if I do need to hear 2 things at once, the subreceiver is installed in the K4, and I can listen to 2 things at once on the K4. And that's about it. Everything works. It's all connected to the computer. So I can do software things when I need to. Not a lot else to say. So anyway, I guess that's about it. So I hope this doesn't make people seasick. And there you go. So in any case, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching.